differences. We are not made good by being superior over others. Instead, our differences, our differing reflections towards one another establishes our goodness. Only when we are able to see, to celebrate, only when we are able to embrace and to cherish our differences as good, are we truly acting in God's ways? Are we truly living in God's world? Our sacred story of creation wants us to know that goodness isn't found in our hierarchy, one thing created better than the one before it. Instead, goodness is found when we stand in loving support in the reflection of the other. The light is only bright when there is darkness. The heavens are only suspended when they are allowed to hover above the earth. Trees do not grow tall unless there is grass to grow in their shadow. The birds only fly through the sky as long as there are herds that run across the valleys and the plains. Goodness is never found in the absence of the other. Goodness is only found and only exists in the reflection of the goodness within those who are not us. One of the many tragedies in New Zealand was that a man entered into God's world and extinguished the goodness that was inside of him. 50 points of light and love that were within his soul. They were there for him to find as goodness in the world. Those sparks were cast out of his soul. Do not think that he destroyed the goodness and the life that was in each of those 50 souls that departed the earth last Friday. He did not have the power to do that. He did not have permission to do that. Our gathering here right now is proof. Thousands of miles away from the crime, it is proof that 50 souls still matter and are still considered part of God's goodness in the world. One of the tragedies is that he extinguished the goodness from his own soul. The goodness of Hosne Ara Parvin, 42 years old. She was the goodness that he could have found in his soul. Naeem Rashid and his 21-year-old son, Talha Naeem. They were the goodness he could have found in his own soul. Muhammad Ibrahim, 3 years old. He was the goodness he could have found. But now all that goodness has left his soul, and it now is embedded within ours. What are we going to do with it? My vision of unity is that we dedicate more of our time to seeing the goodness in the other. We spend more of our time in each other's sight so that we can truly see God's world as it was created as good, with all of our differences. Peace be unto you. Shalom Aleichem.